That bird and another bird were coming through here. I think one of them's trying to get lucky with the other one. Alrighty guys, got a new project that we're going to try to work on today. This being in the Sqaurebody truck. The situation that we have right now is the transfer case that's in this truck. It's a NP263XHD. The big one that came behind the diesel that's electronically shifted. Problem is, when I bought the donor truck, that transfer case was in really bad condition. So I rebuilt the whole thing, new bearing kit, new fluid, all the fun bells and whistles, new pump, got the pump rub kit put in it. Did all the stuff that you're supposed to do when you're inside one of those transfer cases. Got it put back together, and then immediately had a problem where my front drive shaft would not actually install into the receiving, what would you call that? It's like the front output shaft on the transfer case itself. It's like a female spline. The drive shaft yoke would not install to it, and upon further investigation, it's because the output spline was bent. I don't know how you bend that, but mine was bent. So I bought a new one. I just have been putting off putting it in because it's such a big project, because I'm going to have to drop the rear drive shaft, the whole transfer case got to come out, and then I got to tear it all down just so I can change one part. So that's what we're going to work on today, and probably for the next couple days, because this is going to take me a while. And yeah, there's nothing else to say about that, so let's get started. These birds keep bugging me. What do you want, birdie? You be my friend? Nope. That's fine. Okay, so back into the workshop here. I have my lovely pile of parts, which, you know, the top of the toolbox, everybody knows that ends up becoming a catch-all for a bunch of useless crap. So I recently made the decision that the top of my toolbox is going to be dedicated for parts to keep clean and organized for the Duramax and the truck in general. So up here we can find, there's the new shaft. Up here we've got our new shaft, and then we've got new output seal, because I'll need that. There's the front outlet seal right there. I believe this is the seal for the input on the transfer case, which, depending on the situation, I won't be changing this because I probably won't need to. This one I'll probably change just because I might be changing the yoke, and if I'm in there. And then I bought a new bushing for the rear tail housing. I'll explain all that later. Okay, so I got it all jacked up. The front here, these jack stands have big feet on them. They're also on the plywood. I trust that they'll be pretty sturdy. In the back, I have a little bit smaller of the jack stands, but they are sitting on steel plates to give them a bigger footprint. And I've left my jack underneath the pumpkin to provide a third point of contact back there. And I just shook the truck to make sure that it won't fall over. Always, 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 when you're lifting your vehicle, make sure to check that everything is safe and sound, and always shake the thing before you ever get under it, because the last thing you need to do is be dropping something. You bump it, you kick it, you're pulling on a bolt, and you're using the frame as leverage or something, and then everything falls out because it looked good sitting straight up, but that little bit of sideways force is all it took. So that's my little PSA. Always give it a shake before you get underneath it. Okay, on to the next one. So, I never remember what size these are. Might be the wrong size, but it still works. If it fits, it ships, right? That's what they say. Probably can't say that. Eee! Watch me get whacked in the head with a drive shaft. That'll be fun. Eee! So, you want to do a little story time with Jordan? So what happened is a little while back, I got a friend, Seth, lives about 20 minutes from me, alright? He's got this Tahoe. It's a 2009 Tahoe. Nice truck. But it was having a couple issues, and it seemed like an electrical issue. And when it comes to electrical issues... Oh, goodness! I gotta be careful, I might strip that. Okay, got it that time. So, when it comes to electrical issues, I prefer to do those at my house because that's where all my tools are. That's where, all of my wire crimps and every little odds and ends that I might potentially need. Everything lives at my house. So I prefer to do... Ooh, that's going to be fun. I prefer to do my electric work at my house. Well, there we go. So what happened is I went out there with my car trailer, and we got his Tahoe on my trailer, which it barely fit because apparently my car trailer's small and Tahoes are big. Well, got it loaded up, and I'm pulled off in the grass across the street from his house, and I have two problems. One problem, my truck won't start. I haven't discussed it yet, but I do have an issue where my starter and my flywheel don't engage well. So I'll sit there and I'll hit my starter. I'll hit my starter. I hit my starter. And all it wants to do is grind. And eventually it usually catches and it starts. It sucks. It's embarrassing, but, it's one of those problems that I'm going to deal with when I get the new engine, because the problem is the flywheel, not the starter. So the truck, I sat there for... it had to have been like 5-7 minutes trying to get the truck started. Got the truck started. Then, we'll say my goodbyes, get everybody loaded up, and I'm ready to leave. I hop in the truck and I put it in drive. And I'm just spinning my tires in the grass. Like, the truck's just not moving. And I wasn't digging ruts because I was still on the tiny tires that have like no tread on them. So I was just sitting there spinning on top of the grass. And I'm like, oh, cool. Wouldn't it be great to have four-wheel drive? Which, that's what we're working on today, right? Well, I didn't have a drive shaft in, so I didn't have four-wheel drive. So I had to have him hook up his truck to my front bumper, or tow point, and pull me onto the road so that I could get out of there, because I couldn't get out of the grass. Even because the loaded trailer was sinking into the dirt just enough. I couldn't pull it without four-wheel drive or, with my crappy tires. So that was fun. It's one of the main reasons why we're fixing this. Oh! Put it back, put it back, put it back. I was unaware of that. Yeah. Okay. Now it's on top of me. Oh, now it's on the ground. Whew. Okay. So I may end up replacing that bushing on the tail housing of the transfer case, even though it's brand new. Because I did have an issue where when I went to put this yoke in, it seemed very tight going in. And I believe I have a replacement yoke for this. So if I do the new bushing and the new yoke, then we should be in luck for, going back together a little bit easier. And I also see right here I am missing one of the retainer clips for my U-joint. Alright, so I went and just grabbed it off the shelf, and going by the part number and the size and the shape, looks like they are indeed the same part. So I will probably be changing out this yoke before I put this back together, so that I get a nice, and I'll put the new bushing in the new tail housing, so that hopefully that doesn't become a problem again. Here we are on the bench, and honestly I don't fully remember how to take this apart, but we're gonna figure it out. And I gotta rip all these bolts out around the side, and underneath here is a little circlip dealio that needs to get taken care of, which I'm actually looking right at. I don't remember it being that easy to see. Had to buy this pair of pliers just for this clip here, which there isn't a whole lot you can do until after you get those all popped off. So you see that? See how it looks like it's jumping around? That's why we're changing this. What you're looking at here, this is the drive shaft. This original outlet, you put it on there, it goes about that far, and it gets stuck. You see how we still got about an inch here between the rubber and the tail? Whatever you want to call it. That's about where it gets stuck at. Got this brand new one. If I take this, slides all the way down, seats into the boot. That was the problem I've been having, and why this whole thing needed to come apart to change this one piece. There's a reason I don't call these how-to videos, because that was probably not the right way to do that. So I'm putting just a little bit of engine assembly oil on here to help things go in. I try to make sure to line up my oiling hole there. And now the really critical part is just watch it and make sure it's going in straight. Something that I'm going to do, because I can, so I'm going to 3D print a installation tool for this thing so that I'm not beating it up every which way trying to get it in. So let's bump on over to the computer. Let's get one of those going. Okay, so there was this supposed to be this whole thing with the screen recording of the computer and all that stuff, but everything went wrong. So just know, I took some measurements of this thing using this thing to design something on the computer, and I'm going to print it on the printer, and it's going to look kind of like that when it's done. Alright, back to the garage. Alright fellers, so it's a new day, and I realized something because I was cleaning up workbench here, trying to get, to where I can start filming doing this U-joint, and I stumbled across a spare snap ring that goes behind that seal right there, and that seal, the only way to take it out is to destroy it, so I really wasn't excited over that concept. And I was able to split the transfer case, pull the entire shaft out, put the snap ring on, and then put it back in. So crisis averted. Kind of a long way around to doing it, but it worked out better anyways because I had put too much RTV on the seam anyways, and I needed to clean it off and start over. So let's get to the drive shaft. Let's get this thing put back together. I'm doing this one on the ground because this two-piece drive shaft is so long that trying to work it on the bench with the bench vise is very impractical. I keep trying to drop it, so I'm going to just try to do it right here on the floor. Just probably bring pliers. Okay,
So, back under the truck. I don't fit under here very well. This really isn't all that fun. But let's see what we can do about getting this thing back in. First things first, got to clear off any leftover debris on this mounting flange here. There isn't very much. And then we'll try to bench press this transfer case into place. And then I'll figure out what the heck I'm doing after that. So, I went ahead and skipped past all those bolts that you've already seen me do, because it was getting hard to get a good angle on it with the camera, and I figured you already seen me took it apart. So now I'm on to something new, and this is, I'm going to put back in this rear seal for the drive shaft, and this is where the 3D printed tool comes in. See? It fits nicely on that flange there, and I'm just now realizing I forgot to bring a hammer to help me install this, so I'm going to have to crawl back out and grab a hammer. But one of the reasons why I waited till now to put this seal in is because it's got a little baby weep hole on it right here, and that weep hole needs to face down. And yes, I could have gotten it close by just kind of eyeballing it, but I figured with it in the truck I'd get a much better understanding of which way's up and down, and I can put it in better first try. So I got my hammer. So I'm going to take my seal and get it lined up just the way I like it. I'm going to put just a dab of RTV around here, because I don't want to run the risk of this leaking. Even though technically the red part is already a sealant, and you don't need more, I just really would hate to have this start leaking, because I've put a lot of effort into getting this where we're at. So, straight down, weep hole, line it up. I like it. Take my homemade 3D printed tool, stick it right there, and swing a hammer incredibly close to my face. Okay, so things went a little crooked on me. Now we're getting it. Gotta hit it more on that side. There we go. Nice little squeeze out of that excess RTV. And got a nice tight even seat all the way around. The lip is nice and straight, no flat spots. I'm happy. sure hope people like watching me struggle, because I swear that's this whole video. Alright, now that I got the rear drive shaft in, I'm going to go ahead and swap off to putting oil in this thing, which this is where we might actually get some educational information. Let me just get ready. For starters, I got some Pennzoil Ultimate Platinum Ultra. It's my go-to motor oil for my gas engines. And I'm going to be putting it in right there through the speed sensor hole. We're filling through the speed sensor hole because we're going to go ahead and overfill it. Usually, you only fill down to this hole right here. When it leaks out, you know you're done. That's about 2 quarts. We're going to go and take it to the speed sensor hole, and we're going to put 2.5 quarts in it. People recommend that because whoever gets down here and checks their oil level in their transfer case, give you another half quart worth of time before the thing explodes. Also, when it comes to the actual type of the oil, the reason we're using motor oil is because apparently at some point in time they changed the service procedure on these. Instead of using some special whatever GM fluid, they just say use some good old engine oil. I think they specifically say 30 weight. So let's get pumping. And I'm going to use the side of the bottle to tell me when we're got our 2.5 quarts. Alright, so that's 2.5 per what the bottle says. Let's get the oil out of the way, get our speed sensor. And that's it for an oil fill. So I'm just going to get a couple wires buttoned up. We'll get the front drive shaft in, and we'll go from there. So here's the moment of truth. How much do we have to fight the drive shaft to get it to go into that hole? Because it's the whole reason we did all of this. Yes, I'm one-handing it and holding the camera. Not even a problem. Right in. I'm just going to have to tuck this wire up so it doesn't get caught in the drive shaft. And that would go right together had I not had the caps in the way. So I gotta take that apart now. Alright, so that sums up putting it back together. There's only one thing left to do, and that's take her for a quick rip around the block and see if everything's functioning the way it should be. But really quickly, there's a bird that's been bugging me a lot lately, and I just figured out why. I'm wondering if I should move that or keep it. I don't really want to displace him, but I also don't want him walking and pooping on my cars. So, I might have to move that. He won't be happy. Or she. I don't know how birds do it. Okay. So we're going to go around the block once to get the oil pump pumping inside the transfer case, and then we'll try shifting between the gears. side road. I'm going to go ahead and shift it into 4 high. Says it engaged nicely. It's a little hard to tell. Stop right here. 4 low will tell us for sure because it'll drive funny. Low. I didn't know it would do that. That's everything I've got for this video. That one was a long one. Hopefully it edits up a little shorter and doesn't end up just being a long, rambling, nobody wants to watch kind of video. My hopes are not high. Truck's doing other weird stuff, so I guess we've got new projects for the future, but that's got to do with the door. It didn't want to open when I tried to get out, which I've never had that problem before, so I guess we'll figure that one out. Thanks y'all for joining me. You know, if you made it this far, you definitely earned it. And, you know, maybe I earned it too and you could give me a subscription. If not, that's fine. Make sure to comment. It's good for the algorithm. I'm not good at reading them, but it makes my channel grow. And that might help me make more fun videos. So, I guess I'll quit rambling. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch y'all next time.